Well, we're getting reaction now on that particular interview, which we held with Bosman Grobler. I'm joined now by the MEC for Public Works, Roads and Infrastructure, Thulasizwe Thomo. Dabazita, good to have you and thank you very much for your time. I want to start with a note from the Auditor-General's report. It says, in the Mpumalanga province, on infrastructure, weaknesses in financial and project management practices negatively affected infrastructure projects, which had an impact on service delivery. The Public Works, Roads and Transport Department, which is responsible for procuring and monitoring construction works in the province, still did not have the internal capacity to oversee construction on the projects, leading it to rely heavily on consultants. Provincial leadership did not follow through on its previous year's commitment to develop internal capacity to address project management deficiencies that affect quality and timelines. It's a scathing report on the department and what the department promised to do and what it didn't do, hence the targets that have been missed. How do you react to that?
Thanks, Tibos. Greetings to yourself and the viewers at home. Good evening to yourself. Let me start by profusely apologizing for last night. It was just poor communication on our side, so we could not be available. But we're here now to clarify some of the issues. Firstly, I think one needs to indicate that as a department and the entire provincial government of Mpumalanga, we take note of the recommendations and, of course, the findings of the Auditor-General. And of course, as you are now alluding to some of the issues that were highlighted by the Auditor-General, you are correct. These are some of the findings which we came across and some of the findings that my predecessors have made commitments. But I must indicate to yourself that we have since met with the Auditor-General to give us a briefing on the current report. And we have made an undertaking and submitted our own commitments. Some of these commitments are that we need to improve on project management as per the previous reports and the current report. And this is what we have committed to Auditor-General to say we are going to be developing what you call an audit action plan and ensuring that we comply with Auditor-General. We respect Auditor-General, but I must also dispel some of the myths that are being or that we were fed with, which are misleading society to say in the province there are many projects that are not completed. It's just a few, because the report which you are referring to by Auditor-General speaks about 3 projects, if I'm not mistaken. One is Mkondo Boarding School. The second one is the Parliamentary Village, which had a number of challenges, community stoppages, unrest, and so on and so forth, to a point that at some point these projects were not funded due to some of these stoppages which we experienced. So it should not therefore be attributed to poor planning or budgeting, but due to some political environments that we find ourselves in at the time. Yeah. But also, I think I need to dispel the myth that says there are projects in the province which are abandoned. There are no projects in the province which are being abandoned. Every project, you will understand, Musa, we are not immune to the challenges. I mean, Thabo, we are not immune to the challenges that other provinces are experiencing. And comparatively speaking, if I can tell you, as the province of Mpumalanga, we are among the best provinces that are implementing infrastructure projects on the ground.
Yeah. Might not necessarily all be abandoned, but at least some generally delayed. For example, one that is cited here is the construction of the new Ermelo Primary School, which has now led to classroom overcrowding because it's just delayed, and teaching quality there is also affected. The Auditor-General saying we are considering a possible material irregularity, I beg your pardon, because of this.
This is one of the project that you are mentioning. It's one of the projects that we have submitted what you call a revised completion date. It's one of those that we will be soon completing, probably by the end of December. But it is also one of the projects that we have been experiencing a number of challenges which are affecting the entire country. The construction mafias, stoppages by some of those who masquerading as business people, but who are mafias or criminals. So we have developed a plan working in conjunction with the Department of Safety and Security and in the province to deal with some of these criminal elements that we, on daily basis, experience in some of these projects.
Yeah. So let me see what you're wanting to clear. One is that the assertion that you have many projects but limited budget is not true.
No. What I'm saying is that it is untrue for Grobler or the DA to say there are many projects that are left abandoned or incomplete in the province.
Yeah.
That is untrue.
Okay.
But what is true is that projects that we have been experiencing challenges with is the one that you have just mentioned of New Emelo Primary School, Kondo Boarding School, Parliamentary Village. Those are projects which have been thorny projects that requires the attention. And we have since made a commitment before the legislature, where Grobler is part of, and they have endorsed our commitment. We have made a commitment to Auditor-General. I myself have signed a commitment to the Auditor-General, committing that we are going to complete these projects within this financial year, probably before the end of this year. That is the commitment which we have made with Auditor-General. So they must not mislead society, because that on its own, it's not allowed in this country.
Yeah. According to the DA saying 50% of the departments, I don't know if that includes yours, have got no CFOs. In fact, have got acting CFOs who are being paid a handsome allowance here and there.
That is another lie that needs to be dispelled, because in his interview with yourself, Grobler should have at least indicated that which are those departments, because from where I'm seated, it was only the Department of Health and probably one of the entities. The Department of Health has already, as ESCO, we have already appointed someone there. I was fortunately part of those interviews, the shortlisting process. So we've already appointed as someone who is possessing the necessary requisite to discharge the work of a CFO. So it should have at least been clear as to which is that department that he is referring to, so that we can also provide clarity. The problem about some of us is that we want to use the plight of our people on the ground and some minor mistakes to advance our own nefarious political experience, which is something that is not correct. What we need in this country is to work as a collective and take ownership of some of the things that are happening in the country, especially us who are public representatives. So I saw that interview, and some of these things that he's raising with yourselves are really misleading, Tibos, and they should be corrected, which I'm trying to correct them now.
Yeah. So you've met with the Auditor-General, you have devised an audit action plan. How are you addressing the question of the monitoring of the performance of contractors or management of projects, performance management, that is?
Since my appointment in this department, I think I have already terminated 2 poor performing contractors, because such thing is not going to be tolerated now moving forth. Secondly, one of the admissions that we are making before yourself and before the country is that, of course, internally, there's been poor monitoring of projects, which is something that even the Auditor-General himself or herself have picked, that we need to improve on that one. And one of the commitments which we have made is that we need to strengthen our internal capacity, especially as it relates to the project management unit. We are having a project management unit, but we strongly feel that it requires a lot of capacity. And we're in that process as part of responding to the findings of Auditor-General.
Yeah. So she says, broadly speaking, some departments did not include crucial indicators related to their core mandates in their performance plans. For example, social development is one that is cited here, excluding essential indicators relating to child abuse cases, register at political care facilities, child accessing care facilities, and these indicators were only found in the operational plan that were not properly monitored and overseen.
I do agree with you, Thabo. That is why initially I've said to you, as a department and as the entire government of Mpumalanga, we do admit and respect, of course, the findings of Auditor-General. So I think the department in question will improve in some of the things that have been highlighted by the Auditor-General. Just like ourselves as Public Works, we are doing exactly that. And I can tell you now, we are going to turn around the corner as the province of Mpumalanga. The entire government, just by the way, all the departments, we are moving very smooth with the teams, and we're moving very smooth with even Auditor-General, because we're working very close. Just by the way, on the 23rd of October, we'll be meeting with the Auditor-General. She'll be coming down in the province. We'll be having a broader discussion, especially as it relates to this report. And I must indicate even to yourself, this report is not at the is not even published by Auditor-General for public consumption, but yet we have politicians or certain political parties who have already speaking about it. But we are going to be on the 23rd speaking to the Auditor-General broadly and comprehensively about some of the remedial actions that she thinks are necessary for the province in order for us to improve on service delivery.
Thulasizwe Thomo, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on. That is the MEC there, taking his right of reply to that conversation we had with Bosman Grobler. He is the MEC for Public Works, Roads and Infrastructure in that province. Right, let's take a break. In Focus continues.